What's up, everybody? Mr. fucking YouTube here, and today we are reviewing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Now, you might be wondering, Mr. YouTube, why should I listen to your review? Well, I think I'm pretty versed in speaking on the topic. I do have 100% map completion and have beaten all the game currently has to offer, except for one, spoiler alert, hidden boss. So let's get into it here and let's talk about this game. Now, to be honest with you, I played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is like the little 8-bit game that they came out with a little bit earlier in the year, and I did like that. But I'm not sure what it was about this game when I initially saw it that threw me off. I don't know if it was that I just didn't pay enough attention to it or do enough research about it or whatever it was, but I just wasn't initially attracted to this game for whatever reason. And I had a chance to play it the other day, and I am so glad I did, because I can tell you without a shout of a doubt that this is a bona fide grade A Game of the Year contender. Okay? This is one of the best games you can currently play on console or PC. And it is a game I had an absolute blast with, and there's apparently multiple DLCs that are in the works, so it looks like we're going to get more content here. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about what makes this one of my favorite games of 2019 so far. Basically, this is the spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which for many of us is kind of the Metroidvania game that, you know, is most talked about. That and Super Metroid are the two games that really are most talked about when you talk about great Metroidvanias or great games that really kind of created this whole genre that are so emulated by many, many others. And, you know, you got some that are decent attempts at it. You got like the Axiom Verges of the world, which are basically love letters to Metroid. And you have some that are just okay, but you have a lot of different games that follow in this style, right? Where you start off as kind of an underpowered character, you go around, you see different ways that you can go, but you don't have abilities to get there, or you haven't unlocked certain things, blah, blah, blah. You find the ability, you come back, and then you can move forward. So there is some backtracking that goes on in these games, but you always feel like you're getting stronger. And as you go through some of these early areas in the late stages of the game, you one-shot the enemies. You know, you feel like basically like you're a god because of the way that you've leveled up and powered up. So again, you kind of got that same setup here, right? You're going to have all these different things you can see on the map where you can't quite go early on in the game, right? You don't quite have the abilities to go there, and it's your job to go and find them. So in that respect, you have this sort of constant progression, right, that's happening in the game, which, as you guys know, if you watch a lot of my reviews, I am a big fan of this. I love to feel like I'm constantly making progress, like I'm constantly accomplishing something when I play. And that is exactly what happens here. There was very little downtime in this game where I thought I was either grinding or where I just felt like I was going through the motions. I always felt like I was getting somewhere, like I was doing something that mattered. Like I was finding a chest or finding an item or a weapon or getting an upgrade to health or magic or anything. Something to keep me going. That is a key for me. So obviously this game brings out lots of Castlevania feels, right? You've got kind of the big haunted castle and you're trying to stop the evil, right? It's really a basic story. I mean, there might be a little bit of lore hidden in some of the books and stuff if you want to get really involved in it, and that's great. But that's basically it. You're saving the world from evil, blah, blah, blah. But where the game shines is in sort of this meta game that's going on in here, right? The Easter eggs that are in here for people that are fans of the Castlevania Symphony of the Night game. Some of the Easter eggs and some of the hidden bosses that you're going to be able to find are just awesome, right? This is where the game really, really shines, and it, again, provides enough of a hook to keep you going and keep you wanting to see 100% of the map and keep you wanting to get from, you know, where maybe you could rush through the game, so to speak, and then really, and not feel the need to seek out some of these things, this game makes you want to seek them out. And I love it for that. We're supposed to be getting multiple pieces of DLC here. And what we've got so far is hard mode, speed run, and boss rush. So once you finish the game, you can go back and play it on New Game Plus, change your difficulty if you want. You can play a speed run version, you can play a boss rush, and that's just what we have so far. So we have multiple pieces, apparently, hopefully, that are still on the way for this, which excites me quite a bit. Because I would love for them to add a couple more areas for us to explore. You've got really a huge game here. It took me 18 hours to complete my first run through on normal to get 100% of the map. And I did have to use some guides to help me towards the very end, because in order to get that 100%, you're going to need to find the secret rooms, or the wall break, the rooms you're going to enter in after you break walls. And of course, finding all those is certainly difficult. I was able to find some, but not all of them on my own. So, again, to hit some of these 100% marks, definitely is going to take a very dedicated gamer. And then to really get some of these 100% marks in all the armors, all the weapons, and then completing all of these side quests as well. There is a deluge of content for you if you really want there to be. You've got giant bosses in this game, memorable bosses in this game, fun bosses that absolutely will remind you of past experiences in the Castlevania games. This was by far one of my favorite parts of it, is finding these bosses, learning how to beat them, feeling very accomplished when you do, because they are tough, and I definitely died many, many times. You've got NPCs to meet and save, different quest lines to go through. You have side quests within the game itself, which is really neat, and I enjoyed those as well. I actually was able to finish one of the side quest lines where one of the characters has you avenging the deaths of survivors in the town or whatever, and I was able to finish that, and it was quite the list of things to do, but it was really cool, and again, you feel very accomplished when you take it down and you take care of it, and it gives you that sense of accomplishment. Again, you've got tons of costumes, tons of armor, tons of weapons. The variation in this game is incredible. It's better than in a lot of AAA titles. Now, you're going to probably fall into that kind of that thing where you find a weapon you really like and a playstyle you really like, and that's to be expected. But I'm just saying, you can play through this with so many different types of gear, so many different loadouts, that it makes it fun, and it makes that trial and error really, really interesting as well. And it is actually one of the better parts of the game. I think for me, the best part of it is how much hidden stuff is here. I know when I started playing this, I definitely was kind of going about it, no guides, nothing, to the best of my ability. And it just was really a neat feeling when you found a hidden room, or you found, a kind of a back door, so to speak, into a room, or a shortcut that you could open, and the way that the world connects together was really intricate and very well done, and I loved it. You've got tons of hidden shit in this game, and just when you're thinking you found everything, and just when you're thinking nothing's going to surprise me anymore, and just when you're low on health, you come into a room, and what do you have? You have an HP max up there waiting for you to get you going, get you through. Or you have a save room just at the right time. So I really like that in games that I feel like they're handcrafted with care. Where, yes, The struggle is on point. There's difficulty, but at the same time, it feels doable. This game nails that. So it's got a very good balance of you can accomplish this, but it's not going to just be a walk in the park. You're going to have to get good. And I like that. To be honest with you, there aren't a lot of things on my mind when I think about negatives in this game. And I suppose I would say that the save system felt a little outdated. Now, again, it is exactly like you'd expect in a quote-unquote Metroid game, right? You've got your map layout, you've got your designated save rooms, but as probably a spoiled gamer in the 2000s, 2018, 2019, when you beat a boss and you don't go back and save it, and then you die, and you have to fight the boss again, it really sucks. Yeah, and that happened to me a couple times. So, it would have been nice if, you beat the boss and it would give you that autosave. You kind of deserve it, I feel, after you go through one of those big fights like that. But that's probably my entitled ass talking, to be honest with you. So just know that if you are somebody that expects a checkpoint system, you're not going to get it here. You need to manually save your game every time you want to save. There is a preparation thing here, and you can see it right here, where you actually prepare food in this game, which I didn't really use for the first half or 3/4 of my playthrough. I should have. So I'm probably just putting it in the negatives because I was too stupid to make use of it. But it's a way to basically have more healing, and you actually get stat boosts for each new thing that you eat. I wish I had known that, because damn, that was really useful later in the game anyway. I didn't use it as much. I thought some of the ingredients seemed really hard to come by for whatever reason, but I probably should have paid more attention to it. So it's probably my own fault, but just know that there is a really in-depth crafting system in this game if you want to make use of it. And to be fair, to compete in some of the higher endgame content, you're going to have to make use of it. Also, for those of you that aren't familiar with how Castlevania Symphony of the Night goes, there is a crazy false ending in this game, which got me. I will admit it right here on camera. I did not fucking expect it. I think it's been a good 20 years since I played Symphony of the Night, and I don't know if I just wasn't expecting it or what, but again, spoiler warning here, people, so skip ahead about a minute or two if you don't want to hear this. But this game leads you on a path, and you come to the end and you get a game over. And it got me. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way. Because it's when you beat a game, normally you get that high, right? You get that little 2-second beta high from beating that game. But you don't get a high from this. You get a big letdown. And I'm like, this can't be it. And luckily it wasn't. But to find the second half of the game, so to speak, you need to do a little bit of thought, a little bit of effort, things that I probably would not have been able to figure out without the help of our friends on the internet. So just know that. And I ran headfirst right into that false ending and was like, I just had this big fucking smile on my face, like, you've got to be kidding me. I did not expect that. Again, not really a con, but just know that it's there. Just know that if you're like me and you go into it and just follow along the beaten path, so to speak, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. And when I look back on it, it was one of those great memories that I'm going to have, if that makes sense. I'm always going to have that memory for this game, that happened to me. So, very fun, very unique way to kind of say, you got to look a little harder if you want to see what we have to offer. I like that. I like that a lot. But just know that there is a really great false ending here. that I recommend that you actually do check it out and do complete it just so you can see it and see what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day here, guys, if you're a Metroidvania fan at all, okay, this is a must. This is a bona fide must. Again, I can't honestly tell you why I didn't jump on this day one. It is worth the price at $40. Absolutely worth it. I was able to pick it up for $30. At $30, it's a no-brainer. But at $40, it's absolutely worth it, and without a doubt, one of the best games you can buy currently. This is right up there with Sekiro and the Resident Evil 2 remake as leading contenders for the 2019 Game of the Year. It has everything you're going to want in a game, and what I like about it is a contained experience. Let's make that clear. There is an end game, there is a completion percentage, there is, yes, I've completed what this game has to offer. It's not one of these things like we see so many times in these open world games, right, where it just goes on and on and on till the point where you're exhausted to anger with it. This is a completable game. 20 hours, and it's a good, solid, fun, interesting, exciting 20 hours. And if you want to go make all these weapons and you want to go do all this crazy shit, you'll get a hell of a lot more than 20 hours out of it. And when we get some DLC, I'll be back in it for round 2. Trust me. This, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the very best games you can buy in 2019 so far. It is an absolute bona fide grade A buy at any price, and is a leading contender for 2019 Game of the Year. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a 9 out of 10. Is a excellent Metroidvania, and is absolutely worth your time, and is a must-buy for all Metroidvania fans. Hit me up in the comments. If you have any questions about it, I'll do my very best to answer them for you. If you have any questions about it, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about the review. Any other questions, hit me up. I'll answer the best I can. And, once again, this has been Mr. YouTube for the Balding Plebs. I want to thank you all for watching. And Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a buy. You're welcome.